Why Jon Snow didn't become king in Game of Thrones Season 8. When the final episode of Game of Thrones aired, many fans were left wondering how Jon Snow, the man with the strongest claim to the Iron Throne and the heart of a hero, ended up with neither power nor recognition. For 8 seasons, Jon's journey seemed to point toward an epic destiny. He was the hidden Targaryen heir, the man who united the living against the dead, and the warrior who ultimately stopped Daenerys Targaryen's reign of fire before it consumed Westeros. Yet when the dust settled, Jon was not crowned king. Instead, he was exiled to the Night's Watch, left to wander the frozen north with the free folk. To understand why Jon Snow didn't become king in Season 8, we have to examine the political maneuvering, the moral choices, and the deeper thematic truths that shaped his fate. From the beginning of the series, Jon Snow was presented as an outsider. Raised in Winterfell as the illegitimate son of Ned Stark, Jon spent his childhood feeling like a second-class member of the family. His supposed status as a bastard made him keenly aware of the unfairness of hereditary power. While his siblings prepared for noble marriages and political alliances, Jon was sent to the Wall to join the Night's Watch, a brotherhood of outcasts, criminals, and men who had no place in the realm. There, he learned that leadership was not about birthright, but about courage, honor, and the ability to earn respect. These early experiences shaped Jon into a man who valued duty above ambition, a trait that would define his choices all the way to the series' end. The revelation of Jon's true parentage in Season 7 seemed, at first, like the ultimate game-changer. Samwell Tarly and Bran Stark discovered that Jon was not the son of Ned Stark and a random woman, but the legitimate child of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. This made him Aegon Targaryen, the true heir to the Iron Throne, with a stronger claim than Daenerys herself. For many viewers, this revelation felt like the setup for a classic fantasy twist. The hidden prince would rise to claim his birthright and bring peace to the realm. But Game of Thrones has never been a story about fulfilling prophecies or rewarding noble blood. The show has always challenged the very idea of destiny, and Jon's reaction to the news of his lineage was the first clue that he would not follow the traditional hero's path. Jon's response to learning he was a Targaryen was not excitement or ambition, it was discomfort and dread. He never sought power, and he never wanted to be king. His entire life had been dedicated to serving others, whether as a brother of the Night's Watch, a commander in the wars against the dead, or a reluctant king in the north. When Sam and Bran revealed the truth, Jon saw it not as an opportunity, but as a burden. He remained loyal to Daenerys, even as his Stark family urged caution. He refused to use his claim as a weapon, even though it could have given him the leverage to stop Daenerys' increasingly ruthless quest for the throne. This rejection of ambition is key to understanding why Jon never became king. He didn't want it, and in the brutal world of Westeros, those who don't fight for power rarely end up holding it. Meanwhile, Daenerys' descent into tyranny forced Jon into an impossible position. As Daenerys grew more isolated and paranoid, she began to see anyone who opposed her as an enemy of justice. Her decision to burn King's Landing, even after the city had surrendered, horrified Jon. The woman he loved and pledged loyalty to had become a queen willing to slaughter thousands in the name of liberation. Yet even after witnessing this atrocity, Jon hesitated to act. He pleaded with her to show mercy, hoping he could steer her toward a more compassionate rule. But Daenerys believed her vision of a better world justified any amount of bloodshed. Tyrion Lannister's desperate warning, that the only way to stop Daenerys was to kill her, forced Jon to confront a painful truth. His duty to protect the realm outweighed his love for Daenerys. By killing Daenerys, Jon saved Westeros from another age of fire and blood. But his heroic act also sealed his fate as a political outcast. In the aftermath of Daenerys' death, the balance of power in Westeros was precarious. The Unsullied and Daenerys' remaining supporters demanded justice, while the Stark family wanted to protect Jon. A bloody civil war loomed on the horizon. In this fragile moment, Jon's Targaryen heritage was not a blessing, it was a liability. If he claimed the throne, he would instantly become a symbol of betrayal to Daenerys' followers and a threat to the fragile peace the realm desperately needed. His very existence risked igniting another war. By killing Daenerys, Jon had removed the immediate danger of her rule, but his claim to the throne remained a spark that could reignite the flames of conflict. When the lords and ladies of Westeros gathered to decide the future of the realm, Jon's name was conspicuously absent from the list of candidates. Instead of debating his right to rule, the council focused on creating a new system of government. Tyrion proposed that future kings and queens be chosen by a vote of the realm's most powerful leaders, rather than by birthright. This suggestion broke centuries of tradition and effectively dismantled the hereditary monarchy. In this new order, Jon's Targaryen blood meant nothing. What mattered was the ability to lead and unite the realm. Bran Stark, with his mystical knowledge and lack of personal ambition, was chosen as king precisely because he represented stability and neutrality. Sansa Stark secured the North's independence, becoming queen in the North. Arya set off to explore uncharted lands. Each Stark sibling found a path suited to their strengths. Jon, on the other hand, was left in political limbo, too dangerous to be freed, too honorable to be executed. The compromise that emerged was exile. To appease the Unsullied and prevent further bloodshed, Jon was ordered to return to the Night's Watch. This solution satisfied no one completely, but it prevented another war. For Jon, it was both a punishment and a release. He was spared execution, but he was denied a normal life. He could never claim his birthright, never marry, and never live openly with his family. Yet exile also freed him from the crushing expectations of leadership. By sending him back to the Wall, the council removed the last Targaryen heir from the political chessboard, ensuring that Westeros could move forward without the shadow of a contested throne. Beyond the political realities, Jon's exile also fits perfectly with the deeper themes of his character arc. Throughout the series, Jon consistently rejected the trappings of power. When offered leadership, he accepted only out of duty, never out of desire. As Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, as a leader of the Wildlings, and as king in the North, Jon took on responsibility not because he wanted it, but because it was necessary to protect others. Every time he gained power, it came with sacrifice and loss. He was betrayed and murdered by his own men for doing the right thing. He faced death countless times in battles he didn't choose. Power brought him nothing but pain. By the end of the series, Jon understood better than anyone that ruling the Seven Kingdoms was not a reward. It was a curse. His Targaryen lineage, which seemed like the key to victory, ultimately became irrelevant. In a world where the Iron Throne itself was melted into nothing, bloodlines no longer determined destiny. The destruction of the throne symbolized the end of the very system that had caused centuries of war. Jon's refusal to claim the throne reinforced this new order. By stepping aside, he helped break the cycle of hereditary monarchy and the violence it created. His choice, or rather, his acceptance of the council's choice, showed that true leadership is not about seizing power, but about knowing when to relinquish it. There is also a moral dimension to Jon's rejection of kingship. Throughout the series, Jon was guided by a simple but powerful code of honor. He believed in protecting the innocent, keeping his word, and doing what was right, even when it meant breaking the rules. These values often put him at odds with the ruthless politics of Westeros. Ned Stark, his